Let's talk some sports, baby.
And remember, make tomorrow better than today and make today better than yesterday. And you know what we gonna do. We gonna holler at you until next time, baby.
All right, fellas, we're going to wrap it up tonight with our favorite topic, which is, of course, college football. Season's coming down to the wire, and this weekend did little to clear the final playoff picture up. Number one, Alabama blew the doors off LSU in their rematch from last year's game of the decade. Notre Dame, Clemson, they took care of business to set up their ACC title game matchup. Ohio State, Texas A&M, and Florida all kept their dreams alive. And, well, my BYU Cougars, they caught a fresh L against Coastal Carolina. We also have the new playoff rankings hot off the press. No major changes in the top six. Of course, no one lost. But we did have Iowa State sliding on into number 7, followed by Cincy, Georgia, and Miami rounding out the top 10. So, Drink, what are your thoughts on the weekend action? What's all new with the playoff? Alabama play this weekend?
Oh, we did, but we ain't starting now. You know where we starting. BYU, let's talk, baby.
God.
Let's talk, baby. BYU, I had to hear in the last couple of weeks. Oh, my God. BYU is so disrespected. Oh, man, they got an NFL quarterback in Zach Wilson. Oh, compare them to Oklahoma. You don't think they could beat Oklahoma? Oh, compare them to Iowa State. Oh, they look better than Georgia right now. Oh, you can't blame them for the people that they play. Their schedule is their schedule. They need to show more respect to the group of 5 teams because BYU is a powerhouse out here. And then you got this little old team scraggling on the East Coast, Coastal Carolina, the Chandeliers. I still don't know what that is, but whatever. You got them out here.
Green Rooster.
Yeah, all that and some. So you got them over here on the East Coast, right? They over here trying to get some respect too. BYU, looking for a game. Now, before I finish this rant, I want to say I do give kudos to BYU for a 5-day notice, packing your stuff up, sending it across country, and making this game happen. I ain't mad at it. But God dog it, you gonna get this smoke. You gonna get the smoke today. Because I had to sit here and defend Power 5 teams because BYU deserves more respect. And BYU looks legit. And if BYU played in a conference, then maybe they would get more respect. But yet and still, you can't go beat Coastal Carolina? Hey, I thought Zach Wilson was a first-round quarterback. I thought that talent was just as good as Power 5 teams. But hey, as we found out, you're not even the best group of 5 teams. Lesser known coming up here and keeping up with the Power 5 team. I'm just saying, let's talk BYU. Let's talk. What we talking about? Mormons? What's up? Y'all still trying to get into this playoff picture? That's what we doing now? Brigham Young? That's what we doing here? Huh?
I had no idea BYU was such a topic for you.
I
will bring him up again. I did not know.
You didn't know when y'all was talking greasy either last week or the week before about BYU got this. You didn't know, huh? You knew what time it was when the game was over. Oh, Drink will have some stuff to say about this bull crap. And you know I did, baby. Let's pack it on. Anyway, BYU, good luck with that. Now you're not even getting a New Year's Six bowl. Oh. Hey, good luck in the Bahama Popeyes bowl. That's probably not going to happen anyway. All right. So, I would like to
so uncalled for.
I'm looking at cancellation bowl.
Good luck when you're playing against 3 and 5 Wyoming. Yeah, good luck with that. My my next subject, I want to introduce the listeners and the watchers to a new segment that I want to start when we talk college football called Scholarship Check. You know,
Is that not what that just was? Oh.
Oh, no. That's not
Okay.
No, that was playoff check. That was college football playoff check. All right. That was resume check, conference check. You know what I'm saying? Strength of schedule check. No, this right here, we talking about scholarships, baby. We talking about top tier, some of the best players in the country when they get that free ride, when they ain't got to worry about paying for their meals, when they ain't got to worry about getting those student loans and spending half of their life paying them back, getting a freebie scholarship check. And for my first episode of Young Scholarship Check, we're going to go ahead and travel on down to the defending champs, the Louisiana Tigers. Go Tigers. You know, it's a video floating around. Before I get into my actual point here, well, you know, one Ed Orgeron after he came down and he pulled off a reckless win over Alabama with their true freshman middle linebackers in a one-legged tour. He celebrated, you know, best team in most people's eyes, one of the best teams in college football history. I ain't mad at it. Team was pretty good. But people like myself told LSU fans, calm it down, pump the brakes. A lot of stuff happened this year that's not going to happen. I said, Joe Brady, one-hit wonder. It ain't Steve Essamine. No, it's Steve Essamine. He calling the plays of Joe Brady. Okay. That's why Joe Brady ain't been recruiting, right? That's why you ain't see Joe Brady on the recruiting trail at all, right? Because he's actually okay, cool. Then Joe Burrow, this your last year. He's out of here. Oh man, it don't matter. We recruit. And then what did Ed Orgeron say? We're gonna whoop their ass every chance we get. This is us now. We're gonna beat them in recruiting. We're gonna beat them on the field. 1, 2, 3, go Tigers. F-Roll Tide. Oh, okay, well. If you don't say. Now let's fast forward to this year's game, shall we? Oh, by the way, I had to write down some things because I had some people saying, well, why is Alabama fans so hyped about beating a 4-loss LSU team at the time? This is why. And I'm going to give you the last 5 recruiting classes for LSU to show you how piss poor things have gotten for them. Right. In 2017, they finished 7th in recruiting. In 2018, they finished 15th. Okay, I give you that. It was a bad year in recruiting, but you still finished in the top 25, so you had some talent on your team. In 2019, they finished 5th, so you finished with a top 5 class. In 2020, they finished 4th. Right now, in the 2021 class, they sit 4th, with some recruits still out there ready to get grabbed. I say all that to say this. A team that recruits at a high level like this, I don't want to hear about how many players left. I don't want to hear about how many coaches left. I don't want to hear about none of that crap. Why? Because if this shoe, just last year, right? Just last year, Alabama had to play two true freshmen at middle linebacker. And you know what people said? Oh, well, they recruit well. We don't want to hear that. Poor them. Oh, Tua hurt. Oh, so they don't – y'all don't got quarterbacks? Y'all do out of – oh, they field goal kicker can't make field goals. Oh, well, you can recruit everything else but a field goal kicker, right? Nobody felt sympathy. And I ain't mad at it. Okay, cool. Scholarship check on LSU. Did you see Derek Stingley? Did you look in Derek Stingley's eyes when Devontae caught that thing in the back of the end zone with the fingertips, with the Alabama flavor of Odell Beckham going on? Did you see that? Did you see Stingley? He wanted to opt out right then and there. Went over there and told Coach O, I want to opt out. I'm done with this mess. I'm embarrassing me out here in front of my people. This is bull crap. You know, Ed, matter of fact, did you see Ed Orgeron's response to Devontae Smith's second touchdown? Where he just went up on the whole sideline. It's, you know, heavy is the head that wear the crown, you know what I'm saying? And it's looking pretty heavy over there for Coach O, to say the least. But the reason I want to give a scholarship, because they got a lot of guys on that defense that I've been hearing a lot about. Derek Stingley, Flott, Eli Ricks, Stevenson, and it goes on. And none of those guys showed up. And don't even get me started on the offense, which, a lot of those guys we wouldn't even see this year if they had their 14. Either way, scholarship check, LSU. Scholarship check for everybody outside of Derek Stingley because he's actually good. Everybody else, scholarship check. All right? Coach O, contract check. It's time to go ahead and get him out of there. He might have to get out of there after the national championship year. Yeah, I know what y'all saying. Come on, Drink. You're being ridiculous. They just won the national championship. Have you ever seen a defending champ fall off like this after the national championship? Tell me the last time you seen a team win the national championship and look this bad. Hit me with the sauce.
He'll get the COVID pass, but you're right. That clock's ticking a lot faster than it would be for anybody else.
Oh, and I ain't even say anything about the allegations that's floating around LSU as well. You slapped the allegations on top of everything. It might be time for Coach O to go. And the last thing I want to hit on, because I don't really care for all the other action that happened. Ohio State. So we found out today that Ohio State had to cancel that. Let me backtrack. Michigan had to cancel that game with Ohio State. And listen, for all the people, yeah, you know what I'm saying, get a little congested. Game getting closer. But a lot of people gave Kurt Herbstreit a lot of flack last week when he said this was going to happen. He said this. He said, I would not be surprised if Michigan don't play because there's no reason for them to play, and they get to stick it to Ohio State and cancel the game. What do you know? Everybody was outraged, and look what happened Tuesday right before the playoff rankings. Michigan ends up canceling the game due to COVID. No. It's that. So now that puts us in a spot where we're at now where, okay, if Ohio State doesn't play, they don't play in the Big Ten championship. Where do we go from here? I'm of the mindset that Ohio State would get this figured out. Cody, you were saying to me earlier, tomorrow the Big Ten will have a meeting about this. I think in that meeting, they will find a solution to this. Either A, they're going to change that rule, which we know the Big Ten, they go back all the time. No backsies, not in the Big Ten, they do it all the time. Or B, they will find an opponent for Ohio State to play Saturday or later in the week or something to fit the bill of that rule. I think that one of those will happen because Ohio State, we know this, they're the cash cow of the Big Ten, and it's very hard to let that cash cow go. Now, I was talking to Jay about this. I say to myself, what if you get a Northwestern or Indiana, one of those teams that go 8-1, 9-1, whatever case might be. They play in the Big Ten championship, they win. So let's say for the sake of argument, let's say Northwestern, right? Because Northwestern didn't have to play Ohio State. But let's say Northwestern, they go 9-1, Big Ten champs. But then you got Ohio State sitting there at 5-0. How do you justify taking Ohio State over Northwestern Northwestern 14? I'm going to go with Indiana. How would you justify taking Ohio State over Indiana? I got that Indiana lost to Ohio State, but it was about 7 points. They played 9 games. Ohio State played 5. Am I tripping if I say that I still believe that Indiana deserves that playoff spot over Ohio State if that was the scenario? What do y'all thought?
It's not just the Big Ten teams. It's your Cincinnati's and your A&M's. 5 wins versus 9 or 10. But go ahead, Jay.
I completely get where you're coming from, and I think I covered it a little bit on the last show. I think if Ohio State, can't find a way to play enough games, and this was the exact scenario. If they beat up on Michigan State, but the Big Ten put in this rule that you have to play 6 games to make the Big Ten title game, and it appears now that they're going to either play another game or the Big Ten's going to have to relax the rule. But I think if you end up, let's just say for the sake of argument, if the Big Ten says, no, we're not budging the rule, and Ohio State, in that case, they can't play in the Big Ten title game, they're 5-0, that's simply not enough. And it's not enough to the fact that I think if we saw a one-loss Indiana and a one-loss Northwestern play in the Big Ten title game, whichever team wins that title game and would be, 8-1, I believe. That's if you take a Big Ten team, that's who you would have to go with, I think. And not saying that I don't think either one of us, any of us, believe that Northwestern or Indiana is better than Ohio State. But at some point, you have to. It has to matter how many games you play. It has to. I mean, conference titles, as we've seen, that they matter. They carry weight. And in some regards, in the big picture, the Big Ten did this to themselves. The Big Ten came out with this old, principled scientific stand that we are not going to play football this year. They thought every other conference would just lay down and fall on in behind them, and that ain't what happened. And then next thing you know, everybody's mom and dad is up there at the conference headquarters protesting and saying, no, we actually want to play. And now they all late in the game. The game is late. The Pac-12, thank the good Lord. But they all late in everything. And now they're in this position where they gave themselves no room. Other conferences have had trouble. ACCs, every other conference has had postponements, cancellations, but they started up on time to where they gave themselves open weeks to where they could move things around. The Big Ten didn't have that. We knew in the Big Ten had an 8-game marathon season. You had no wiggle room. That's where they're at.
Yeah,
you go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, this situation. Like I said, we talked about last week. We saw this coming, and I think the bigger thing here. I don't personally think you're going to see Northwestern or Indiana jump all the way back up from like 10 or 12 all the way back up to 4. I think the committee has them down there for a reason. Northwestern lost to Michigan State, I believe, who Ohio State just destroyed, missing 23 scholarship players. It's the problem is this. We talked about this in the pre-show. If right now I put a gun to your head and said Ohio State versus A&M versus Iowa State versus Cincinnati, and I said if you're wrong, I'm going to shoot you, you would pick Ohio State every time. I think all of us would. But on paper, you're basically saying we only care about the blue bloods in this case, right? If you're taking a 5-win Ohio State team that looked just okay in their only top 25 matchup, which was against Indiana, which, again, by the way, Indiana's quarterback's now out for the season, I believe. So, that's got to weigh into it to a degree. But if you're taking a 5-win Ohio State team over 8 or 9-win A&M or whatever they wind up being, or Iowa State even, with a conference title, whatever the case may be, or a 10-0 or 9-0 Cincinnati, or 9-0 now as one of their games got canceled, you're literally just saying we only want blue blood Power 5 teams. Conference titles do matter, but not too much, Again, this is my argument when we were talking about 2 weeks ago. We were talking about, all our BYUs and Cincinnati's and crap at the time was, if one of these teams can't get in a year like this, and they're not going to get in at all. So what is the playoff really for? Is it just the BCS times 2? Because that's what it appears to be to me, But I think Ohio State is going to get this figured out. I think really what it is, the Big Ten is going to get this figured out. Either A, they're going to make a special exception for Ohio State because Ohio State is their only, to me, viable path into the playoff, and they're going to protect that money. They're going to get them a 6th game. I think the way they do that is Purdue is likely to cancel on Indiana already, so they may just have Indiana come back and get whooped again by Ohio State. And then they're going to get that 6th win to get their, C's get degrees sort of conference title. Or the wild card, we talked about this before the segment. A&M's got an open week. Ohio State's got an open week. A&M needs it. Ohio State might need it as well. What do y'all think?
Let's go, big. Hey, I don't know who got to make this. I don't know who we need to talk to, but hey, listen, Big Ten Commissioner, SEC, Greg Sankey. Hey, let's go. Let's make this, baby. I'm here for it. Snacks and all.
You just clown BYU, but you were right and mentioned that they did go schedule a top 25 team. They went out and said on a 5-day notice, hey, we're going to go get another tough team. We got to get some extra bump here. Why can't Ohio State and Texas A&M do that? Are they just too good to do that? Again, if I'm Ohio State, I would rather take the Big Ten route to get my 6th win and go to the playoff versus having to go through A&M. I think Ohio State would probably soundly beat A&M, but that's just me.
I don't think so. See, I don't think so.
I think if you give me Justin Fields or Kellen Mond, I think Justin Fields is going to.
Well, yeah, Justin Fields is the better quarterback, but I think Texas A&M get up for that game, though. I think
they do.
Ohio State, they get up. I don't know.
I'm just throwing it out there. But I'm saying my point is this: like both the teams, they wind up needing this for sure. But I don't think Ohio State's going to have to go to that point. But hey, they could. And I think the rest of your teams, Alabama, they're going to kill Arkansas this weekend. They're locked after this weekend, no matter what happens in this SEC title. Notre Dame, Clemson, still up in the air, and your fourth spot, man, it's going to get really interesting, especially if Ohio State doesn't get this figured out. But again, I think they're going to, for the most part.